Welcome, everybody. We're going to get started. It's just lovely to see you all here this afternoon. Welcome to the Gallatin MA Awards and Hooding Ceremony and Celebration for 2023. Congratulations to our fabulous MA students. You did it. Yes. Well deserved. I'm Gwyneth Mallon. I'm the Administrative Director of the MA program, and I'll be serving as your MC, your Master of Ceremonies, tonight. So first off, please welcome our Dean, and her name is Victoria Rosner. She's Gallatin's new Dean. Please welcome Dean Rosner.
Hello, graduates. As of today, we are official. It's my very great pleasure to welcome you all to the NYU Gallatin Annual MA Awards Ceremony. It has been just an amazing few days for our school community. Yesterday at the Beacon Theater for Gallatin's graduation exercises, where we heard Arman Ahmed distill the essence of the Gallatin experience, heard Professor Bella Mirabella reflect on her 40 years at Gallatin, and heard Gallatin MA alumnus Andre DeShields share his wisdom and sing If You Believe from The Wiz to all the graduates. I will not be singing this afternoon, which is for the best, but it was quite amazing yesterday. And this morning, MA grad Michaela Suminski joined me at Yankee Stadium, right? Maybe some others of you were there, maybe some very staunch parents. It was brilliant sunshine. We had an incredible time hearing President Hamilton conferring all of the students' degrees and hearing some quite inspiring remarks from honorary degree recipient and Finnish Prime Minister Sanna Marin. And tonight, this afternoon, is the final event of our Gallatin graduation calendar. And I've had a couple of students saying that they're sad that it's coming to an end. So we just have to squeeze every drop of joy out of this moment. And then we will immediately pivot to alumni events. So we will be seamless. Tonight, we're gathered to celebrate the extraordinary accomplishments of our master's students who have been singled out by faculty, administrators, and peers for their academic excellence, their brilliant creativity, and their contributions to the Gallatin community. The students we will honor at this ceremony have received the highest degree that Gallatin offers, which is the degree of Master of Arts. Our faculty are also here with us at this ceremony and will be sharing a bit about each of these students and their individual achievements. And before we turn things over to that main reason we are gathered, I just want to say a couple of words about this group of students as a collective and the particular kind of excellence that they embody. In taking on the challenge of crafting their own interdisciplinary programs of study, the students we honor tonight have shown themselves to be fearless in their pursuit of knowledge, visionary in their blending of the arts and scholarship, deft in their analytical capabilities, and bold in their willingness to traverse the breadth of NYU to seek out the learning that they crave. The students we are celebrating are intellects, to be sure, but they are so much more than that. They have also made enormous contributions to the Gallatin community through their leadership, volunteerism, and support of one another. They've created and led campus organizations. They've expanded the care and compassion of our community. They have overcome obstacles. They have grown. They have helped others to persist. They have nurtured the diversity of our community and created ever more space at Gallatin for valuing difference. As the new Dean of Gallatin, one of the things that has been so inspiring to me this year is to see the way that the students of Gallatin celebrate and take care of each other. It was amazing yesterday on the stage at graduation because I would be congratulating a student, and as soon as the student passed me, they would turn around and congratulate the next student who was coming. So we had like a receiving line going. I also want to thank our awards committee, chaired by Pat McCreary, for their work in selecting our awards recipients. I'm gonna name the members of the committee: Irene Morrison Moncure, Amy Spellacy, Rachel Bunker, Alejandro Velasco, Eugene Vidrin, Lisa Daly, Laura Slatkin, Ray George Navarro, Rosalind Fredericks, Andrea Gadberry, Julie Malnick, and Malik Walker. It's a lot of work to get to this moment, so let's thank them all. I also very much want to recognize the leadership of the master's program, our faculty co-chairs Greg Erickson and Hannah Gurman.
Woo! Greg!
And of course, we must acknowledge the person who really makes the MA program run as well as it does, and that is Gwyneth Mallon. Okay. I want to note that we have one award tonight that is being given now for the second time, because we gave it at the BA ceremony as well. But this is the first time it is being given in this context, and that is the Rahul Hamid Award for Community Spirit, in recognition of the late Rahul Hamid and the many, many, many ways that his wisdom and generosity sustained and continue to unfold the Gallatin community. And I'm so glad that we are holding his memory close tonight and celebrating his excellence. Our awards this evening are going to be presented in pairs, with a faculty member offering an encomium for each of our deserving students. And I am now going to turn the mic back over to Gwyneth, who will introduce the first of our presentations. Enjoy.
Thank you. I'd like to introduce Jacob Remus, who will present the award for the Masters of Art degree representative to Michaela Suminski.
Whatever you want. The MA degree recipient represented Gallatin's master's program at this morning's university commencement at Yankee Stadium. The choice is thus the Gallatin faculty's statement that the degree recipient is not only exemplary, but is in fact the person this year whom we most wanted to represent us and you, her fellow students, to the rest of the university. Michaela Suminski is indeed an exemplary representative of our MA program. She arrived at Gallatin eager for training as a documentary filmmaker, but also for an education in an academic field, something she found in critical disaster studies. Her brilliant thesis film, Not Bad for a Bunch of Amateurs, Occupy Sandy 10 Years After the Storm, was what we call an artistic project, which is to say that it was a film in which Michaela demonstrated her skill as a documentary filmmaker, but it was also a thesis, that is, the result of deep engagement with academic literatures of critical disaster studies, urban resistance and rebellion, and oral history. To say it a different way, Michaela's thesis is a public intervention in that it is aimed at an audience of filmmakers who want to learn about climate disasters, mutual aid disaster relief, and the legacies of Occupy Wall Street. But it is also a scholarly intervention in that it contributes to academic conversations about the meaning, extent, and practice of solidarity in disasters, about anarchist social movements, and about state and non-state response to disaster. Michaela's thesis is also an oral history. She conducted 28 interviews, producing more than 50 hours of recordings. To quote one of her committee members, who is speaking both about the interviews themselves and Michaela's analysis of them, methodologically, holy fuck, gold standard. Woo! Michaela is depositing these recordings and their transcripts, some of them only audio, but many of them beautifully shot video, to the Tamiment Library here at NYU so that they will be accessible to future generations of researchers of disasters and of social movements. These interviews thus form the basis of Michaela's own thesis, but are also a gift to the field and to the movement. I have so far described Michaela's work, but I want to finish by describing her as a scholar. Michaela is a proud working-class Philadelphian. When she got to NYU, she immediately joined her union, GSOC UAW, and almost immediately became a steward representing not only her fellow grad workers at Gallatin, but also in Tisch and the School for Professional Studies. She also represented GSOC at the Coalition for Labor Action by Workers and Students, and thus supported not only her own union, but other unions around campus, including my own. She reliably shows up not only for her coworkers and other university employees, but for workers at Amazon, Starbucks, delivery apps, and elsewhere around the city. Which is to say, she not only does she study and tell stories about solidarity, she lives it, which is pretty much the highest praise I can give to a fellow worker.
Woo!
Michaela, congratulations on your well-earned recognition as MA degree representative.
Well, I don't have any expletives embedded in my speech, but I just wanted to say a quick thank you. Pretty much everyone in this room in some way played a role in my education and the education of everybody else in the room, especially at a place like Gallatin. So I guess I'll read what I wrote instead of improving. But Gallatin is the School of Individualized Study, so I find it simultaneously difficult to compare all of our explorations and creations while treasuring the scholarship and comradeship that I found here. So thank you to the brilliant peers, generous professors, and devoted staff members who keep this place running. My studies focused on what it means for a collective to respond to a disaster and whether we might one day find liberation from the systems that bind us. And good news, signs point to yes, as long as we keep learning to take care of our neighbors. And while this moment is full of celebration, sometimes joy exists simultaneously with grief. We've lost a lot of people, parents, grandparents, cousins, peers, siblings, and friends over the past few years. So for each of you missing someone right now, I'm with you and they're with you. And I am personally missing my dad, but I know he's whistling through the treetops and embodied around us. So some specific thanks. Thank you, Jacob, for shepherding me to Gallatin, gently demanding my best and checking on me often. Thank you to Sid, who I don't know if she's here, but she is a treasure here at Gallatin. She's an incomparable force of life, and I've never before had the privilege of being in as vibrant and welcoming a space as hers. Thank you, Cobb, for being the best friend I could ask for and never letting me get anything past you. Thanks to Riley for imbuing artistry into my scholarship. And thank you, Mom. You're one fierce lady, and I'm super glad that I'm yours. So thanks, everyone, and most importantly, congratulations to you guys.
Rosalind Fredericks will now present Patience Williams with the E. Francis White Award. Established to honor the contributions of E. Francis White, Professor Emerita at NYU Gallatin, and given by the faculty to a student whose scholarly or artistic work or practice has impact or significance beyond the academy, particularly in the areas of African history, African American studies, gender and sexuality studies, and feminist studies.
Patience was not able to be with us today, so I will sing her praises and hope that she will hear these words. It is my great privilege to congratulate my advisee, Patience Williams, on winning the E. Fran White Award. Patience has built a wonderful interdisciplinary MA concentration here titled Spatial Ethics, Environment, Culture, Infrastructure. Her truly remarkable thesis explores what she calls the collaborative production of space in the Caribbean island of Dominica. And I want to tell you a little bit about her thesis because it was just so remarkable. Dominica has taken on the reputation of being committed to environmental conservation, often described as the Nature Isle, and is recognized as a pioneer of ecotourism. In her thesis, Patience set out to draw out the ways in which the landscape of this island is consumed and encountered materially, visually, and sensuously both by those who live there and those who visit. The work is centered on a deep engagement with the spatial theorist Henri Lefebvre, but importantly extends Lefebvrean theory to engage with more than human landscapes and affective sensitivities. The work takes us through a fascinating journey of authoritative representations of space on the one hand, enacted, for instance, by the Government Tourist Board, next to local grammars of spatial practice and environmental knowledge drawn out through her extensive ethnography, which involved lots of participant observation and interviews with people on the island. At the same time, she insightfully considers these very different ways that space and nature, above all, in Dominica, are conceived, perceived, lived in relation to her own experience of the island, while also taking seriously the way that it is animated by more than human forces, like volcanic activity and flowing water. It's a deeply ambitious work, crafted with care, sensitivity, and a profound ability to truly listen and observe the multiplicity of agents and forces around her. The research offers valuable contributions to critical tourism studies, Caribbean studies, and cultural geography, amongst other fields. But that's not all. Patience achieved the ambitious feat of pursuing her master's and conducting the research in Dominica while continuing with a full-time job, an impressive range of professional and community service commitments. These ongoing activities are too numerous to mention, but a few important highlights include her role as project manager for Art Bridge projects, supervising public art installations in NYCHA public housing here in New York City, as a hydroponic greenhouse farm educator with Harlem Grown, and as a teaching artist, she is herself a practicing artist, with the Caribbean Cultural Center African Diaspora Institute. I don't know how she did it all at the same time, but she did it with panache, ingenuity, and grace. Patience leaves Gallatin with a busy summer ahead as the sustainability coordinator for the Smithsonian Folklife Festival, which will take place this summer on the National Mall in Washington, D.C. I encourage you all to check it out. Congrats, Patience, wherever you are, on a wonderful MA degree thesis, and best of luck in D.C.
I will now present the Interdisciplinary Academic Excellence Award to Martine Duffy on behalf of Hasia Diner, who couldn't be here tonight. But Hasia sent in her remarks about Martine. This award is given to students who have done outstanding interdisciplinary work, and these remarks that I'm going to read are a quote from Hasia's perspective. Quote, Martine, you came to me with a vision that hoped to combine three very different zones: critical thinking, scholarship, and art, drama, and creative ritual, and in both in service of enriching the life of your community. It seemed to me like a very tall order, a hefty task which required you to juggle many balls, keeping them all up in the air. I worried about the challenge of too many missions, but you did it with creativity, persistence, and dedication. You explored ideas, and you imagined the power of historic reenactments as a way to spark spirituality, and you did so with aplomb. Congratulations on staying on track with your vision, learning and changing, but yet keeping your eye on the three spheres that meant so much to you. A pleasure to work with you, and best of luck as you grow in the future. That's a close quote from Hasia. On a personal note, since I have the microphone, I would like to add that on May 6th, I had the deep privilege of attending the staged reading of Martine's original play, Sisters at Midnight. The poignant writing, the timeless story, and the powerful characters from their play made a lasting impression on me, so much that I keep thinking about Liba and her sister, Raisel, and wondering how they're doing in their newly arranged marriages, as if they were close friends rather than fictional characters. Congratulations, Martine.
Thank you very much. Thank you to Gwyneth for those incredibly warm and generous words. This award, like everything else I do, is dedicated to the memory of my father, John Duffy. I lost my father during my second semester of grad school. I was not sure that I would be able to continue on, but I made the decision to push forward, in part because I wanted to make every dream that my father and I shared come true, and this day was one of them. The past 2 years have been marked by other losses. I am also dedicating this award to the memory of my uncles Arturo Mendigo and Howard Halter, as well as my lifelong companion Puck the cat, all of whom passed away around the time of my MA journey. I also need to thank the people without whom I wouldn't have gotten through it. My mother, Jill Presser, my sibling, Simone Duffy, and my partner, Maria Lemire, for their indispensable help, love, and support along the way. As I've told each of them, I could have done it without you, but it wouldn't have been nearly as good. The same is true for all of the friends and family who got me here. I want to especially thank Trinity Gotterstad, and I have to thank Juana Urrea, who is also winning this award and who is my true Gallatin partner in crime. This journey has been often painful, but it has also been glorious. Gallatin is a very special place, and I firmly believe that interdisciplinarity is the future of academia and of art. Thank you.
I will now invite Professor Greg Erickson up to present the next 3 awards for interdisciplinary academic excellence to Arun Govada, Caleb Shoemaker, and Asya Turkyer Zaberman.
I never know how that works. Yes, that's good. Yeah. So Arun produced an original, successful, and impressive thesis in defense that touched on real estate, New York history, art, music, and finance, and showed an ability to negotiate all of these fields at once. He combined his love of art and performance with an ambitious and fact-driven plan to find urban performance spaces in New York, affordable and in a city that's losing a lot of these spaces. As he asks, quote, if one were to open a new lasting live entertainment venue in New York City post-2022, where should it be? Within what real estate asset should it be housed in? What type of venue should be operated within? And how financially viable would it be if the asset was purchased instead of leased? In his hands, what could have been a dry, data-filled thesis project became full of joy, inspiration, and humor, although still with lots of data and charts. The very first line of his thesis was a Shrek reference. But his thesis provided a detailed and practical plan to reinvigorate the performing arts scene in New York City through the lens of real estate theory. Working within was a joy, full of plans, research, anecdotes, laughter, and dinner invitations. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. Thank you guys so much. And congratulations to everyone that is being honored today. I do want to say that it's been a pleasure to work with Professor Erickson, Dr. Mallon, all the professors and the team here at Gallatin and my advisors. But as Michaela mentioned, maybe I'll stop rambling and read what I wrote. My thesis was entitled The Art of Real Estate, a framework for identifying high-value real estate assets for the purposes of live entertainment in New York City. So just keep that in mind while I say my spiel. So thank you very much to my advisors, my professors, my classmates, the administrative team here at Gallatin for this tremendous honor and an academic experience that was beyond terrific. The variety of coursework and teaching styles pushed me very hard and successfully challenged and converged both sides of my brain, the entertainer and the real estate analyst. I'm honored and grateful to receive this award and would love to dedicate it to my alma, my maternal grandmother, who was responsible for teaching me how to sing and sadly passed away last year. So, love you. Thank you to my parents, my aunt, my uncle, my siblings, my cousins, my future in-laws, and my fiance for brainstorming with me and believing in me, especially when it got tough. I love you all. Thank you.
Woo!
So this next award goes to Caleb Schumacher. Caleb's thesis is honestly one of the most interesting and original works that I have supervised in my many years as a professor. His thesis examines the vocal sounds in gay male porn through a philosophical and gender and sound studies lens to think about what it reveals about cultural constructions of masculinity. He uses his knowledge and expertise as a professional vocal coach, along with an ambitious research agenda to reveal how sounds are made, how we remember them, what they signify, and where they come from. The project makes bold and insightful claims about film, voice, sound, sex, and gender. I've learned so much working with Caleb on this project, things I will be thinking about for a long time. Not sure where to go next. As I keep telling him, it is truly a work worth publishing, and I really look forward to seeing where his work lands and what impact it will have.
Thank you. I am really grateful to Gallatin for this honor and for the opportunity to pursue my academic interests. My sincere thanks to my advisor, Greg Erickson, and to the Gallatin faculty for their continued support and guidance despite my peculiar and salacious research. But most importantly, all my gratitude and love to my partner, Ryan Gustafson, without whom I would not be here. Thank you for encouraging me to follow my passions and for listening to me complain while I do. I would also like to thank my parents, who were not included in the first draft of this speech because I did not realize they would be watching via live stream. Congratulations again to all of the award recipients, and thank you all so much.
Woo!
So, third one, then I'm done. This has been amazing working with 3 students like this in the same year, I have to tell that. For the last 2 years, Asya has come into my office full of energy and new ideas from whatever class she is taking, books she is reading, or people she has talked to. We would have a freewheeling, all over the place theoretical discussion, and then she would leave with a new idea for what her thesis would be. From performance studies to modern philosophy to medieval Jewish theology, she seemed to find a way to bring everything together. Keep thinking and reading, I would say. We'll figure out what this whole thing is about eventually. I've seen very few students get so much from and think so hard about their classes and their readings. As her thesis pulled together ideas about language, about fictional documentary, and about linguistics and performance studies and ambiguity, all of these ideas came together brilliantly. I know she will keep reading and keep thinking and keep putting things together in surprising ways. Her intellectual journey is just beginning. Keep an eye on it.
Thank you. Congratulations to everyone here. So starting with the theology, I wrote that speaking to what it means to be made in the image of, Maimonides, the medieval Jewish scholar, says that image means not appearance but essential principle. Likeness is an analogy in substance, not in form. Substance is the internal organizing force, and intra-similitude, much like the intradisciplinarity of my work here. It moved across various fields with the same method, rather than across methods and in the same field. My method was a diffractive obsession with something that can be said but can't be written, or that can be written but can't be read, that can be seen but not recorded, or recorded but not scripted, both monomaniacal and incessantly shifting. My method was my symptom. They're rewarding you for your problems, said my mom. So thank you to her, to my dad, to Gwyneth, Stephanie, and so many others for creating the space for recovery. Thank you.
Woo! Teresa, should I give the award to Juana since David's not here? Okay. Now, David Brooks. It is a recorded video from David Brooks presenting the Interdisciplinary Academic Excellence Award to Juana Urrea.
I want to send a very big congratulations to Juana Urrea, for her award. Juana chose a purposefully convoluted topic for her thesis, that of mapping, that which is as old as civilization is old, mapping, but has created a way of working with a mapping process, both artistically and intellectually, almost anthropologically, a method that is emergent and really equally for the individual and the collective at the moment of its making. So I want to congratulate Juana on tackling such a complicated process and convention in order to also make it something of her own. So I feel like she created a portrait kind of who we are, but also I think this thesis, Juana, can function as a map for you moving forward into the future. So congratulations again.
Thank you, Virtual David. I'm not a fan of public speaking, so I'm just going to go read this very quickly. Thank you to my family for supporting me in academic pursuits that you didn't always understand, and always being proud of me. To my partner for bearing with me on the bad days and celebrating through all of the good. My friends for their support and understanding things I'm not always good at communicating. The faculty, advisors, and community at Gallatin for having me, asking me tough questions, and always encouraging my super niche interests. So thank you. Congratulations.
In this video, Kristen Horton will now present the Leo Bronstein Award to Macarena Ramos. This honor is given to a Gallatin student whose work exemplifies an impressive blend of interdisciplinary arts and academic scholarship as produced by an artist scholar.
The Leo Bronstein Award celebrates outstanding interdisciplinary achievement in the arts. It is my pleasure to present this year's award to Macarena Ramos. Macarena's work at the intersection of theater, transitional justice, and community engagement represents the spirit of this award. Her stunning artistic thesis theorizes how alternative spaces of justice can evolve through participatory art and pedagogical practices. As part of her thesis, she developed a theater residency in a community of immigrant minors in the foster care system. There, she developed insights into creating holistic approaches to transitional justice. As her advisor, it was humbling and inspiring to witness firsthand her openness to being changed by the process and changed by the community at the heart of her work. On this occasion, I not only celebrate the great work she's done at Gallatin, but I look forward to all that is to come, as I have no doubt that her work will continue to inspire, impact, and challenge. Congratulations, Macarena.
Thank you, Christine, my advisor. Congratulations to everyone for Gallatin for this recognition. Everyone that knows me graduating from NYU Gallatin has been truly a dream come true. So as I said, thank you to my advisor, Christine. All my professors are NYU, my defense panel, Stefan Ducombe and Arnold Kurtzi, for all the wisdom and the support, and all the professors across the school. To my family who's here with me, my sister, Dani, my brother, Carlos, my grandmother, Abuela Isa, Alexandra, my sister-in-law, and of course, my parents, who I would have not been here without the love and support. And lastly, I want to thank and dedicate this award to all the students that crossed my path and formed me as a teaching artist, especially the one in the foster care community, and inspire my research and practice. This is and I am because of them. Muchas gracias.
Next, Stephen Duncombe will present the Rahul Hamid Award for Community Spirit to Kira Williams. This is an award given to a student for outstanding scholarship and exemplary participation in community building activities at Gallatin and at NYU.
As her academic and MA thesis advisor, it's my sincere pleasure to present Kira Williams the Rahul Hamid Award for Community Spirit. Like Rahul, who we tragically lost this year, Kira magically balances intelligence and compassion, commitment and caring. Just one example, as an affinity group instructor on the art and storytelling of our future at Gallatin, where she brought together students to share stories and to share the transformational power of stories. But in myriad other ways, as both an undergrad and grad student here, Kira is someone who gives back to Gallatin as much as she's gotten out of it, and maybe a bit more. Kira is also someone who understands that community exists outside the walls of this institution. In her master's art project, through photos, interviews, and installation, she explored the meaning of home for her neighbors in the historic African-American neighborhood of Bedford-Stuyvesant, Brooklyn. As she pointed out in her thesis, home takes on a specific resonance, a special specific resonance for Black folks in the US, a point of pride, a place to express oneself, a space of sanctuary, a haven in a heartless world. It was a brilliant and beautiful project. And then, in a characteristic Kira move, she brought it home to Bed-Stuy and created an installation in a local garden and shared her ethnographic art project with the community from which the images and stories came. In that Bed-Stuy garden, on a warm, sunny afternoon, Kira created a haven. And that's what Kira does. She creates spaces where people feel seen and feel heard and feel as if they belong. And this, above all, is why she deserves an award named after Rahul. As I was just telling someone recently, her father, working with Kira has been one of the high points of my going on 25-year career at Gallatin. She reminds me, like Rahul once did, what all this community here in this room, in these buildings around this park, in New York City, what all this is all about. Congratulations, Kira.
Oh, hi everyone, congratulations. Thank you very much, Steve. It's an honor to receive this award named for the late and loved Rahul Hamid. Love and care for community is central to my artistic and academic practices and something that Rahul radiated every day. A heartfelt thank you to my family and to everyone that has taught me how to love and care. Thank you to my grandma who's watching us via live stream right now. Hi, Grandma. I don't know if it's even that camera. Hi, Grandma. I'm grateful to the participants of my project, Home is in the Stories, for their investment and belief in the power of building an archive through art and storytelling. Thank you to the Gallatin community for the foundation and the freedom to cultivate this power. And last but certainly not least, I'm grateful to the Black Bed-Stuy community and all global Black people for being and making nurturing, strong homes, and whose stories deserve to be cared for. Thank you.
In place of Sybil Cooksey, I will now present the Clyde Taylor Award to Alexandra Boone, given by the faculty to a student who has done distinguished work in African American or Africana studies. And these remarks about Alex are from my perspective. Alex and I met during the fall of 2021 when she took my course on community history. In this class, she wrote a powerful historical profile of the Umbra Poets Workshop, a group of young African-American writers who met from 1962 to 1965 to discuss Black nationalist ideas. In class, Alex urged her fellow students to slow down and take time with the course readings, especially with In the Wake, Christina Sharp's writing on anti-Blackness. Alex also encouraged us to communicate about the global pandemic and its impact as we were weathering that together. She was a vital contributor to the intellectual community of our classroom. For her thesis, Alex conducted close readings of Toni Morrison, Octavia Butler, and Hortense Spillers. Alex argued that the works of these writers from the year 1987 offered a new interpretation of the meaning of social death, while highlighting the contributions of Black feminist thought to the discussions of Afro-pessimism. A true Galatino, Alex also has a BA from Gallatin, magna cum laude from 2020. Please join me in congratulating Alex on her remarkable accomplishments. Say something. Okay.
Hello. I missed the memo about writing a speech for this award ceremony, so I'm gonna talk as long as I can, and I'm already so. First and foremost, I would like to thank Dr. Sybil Cooksey, who was my academic advisor as a master's student at Gallatin. I met her as an undergraduate student in one of her classes and continued to take all of her classes due to how impactful they were on me, my growth as a person, my growth as a scholar, and my growth as someone who's deeply dedicated to the liberation of Black people and all fronts. I would love to thank my friends for this award and my family, of course. I would also love to directly thank Toni Morrison, Hortense Spillers, and Octavia Butler, who I feel are always kind of embedded around me, but who also provide the drive for my work in a lot of interdisciplinary ways. I have so many more people to thank, but I don't have the time and everyone's looking at me, so I'm gonna get off the stage. I'm sorry, I'm so awkward. Bye.
In place of Kevin Cunningham, I will now present the Special Service Award to Kat Scott. Unfortunately, Kat was not able to join us today, but hopefully Kat is watching on the live stream. This award is given by faculty and the dean in recognition of outstanding service to Gallatin and to NYU. Kat Scott is a community builder. From the moment they started the MA program, Kat was focused on bringing their fellow students together in new and innovative ways given the pandemic. Kat launched a writing group for MA students to supplement the writing support offered by the program. In this student-led group, students met online and in person to read each other's drafts, to share resources, and to drink a lot of coffee. For their thesis, Kat drew on game designs and addiction recovery to explore queer virtual spaces inspired by the Mocha Bees Coffee House in St. Louis. In so doing, Kat coined a new paired term concept, queer experience design, their call to action to create virtual spaces by and for queer and non-binary people. I just want to mention that Kat also managed to fit a study abroad experience into their plan of study. They spent the summer of 2022 in London studying drama and youth. I am certain that we will be hearing from Kat online and in person in the coming years. Please join me in congratulating Kat. Now, I happen to have Kat's prepared remarks, so I'm going to read them to you. Thank you to my chosen family, fellow students, and patient faculty for carrying me through these years as a Gallatin student. All I wanted was to be as queer as possible and share it with others, and you helped me do that. On the toughest days, you helped me remember that just showing up very, very gay was enough. I celebrate being in a state where I can say gay as much as I want. With this closing remark, stay gay. Okay, that was perfect. That's our last student that we're honoring. And I want to say congratulations to all the MA students, to all the award recipients. And now we're going to transition into the next part of this event, which is where we hood every single MA candidate. Hooding is an academic ritual that honors and recognizes the work that has been done by graduate students. Now, I know you've been wearing your hood. You wore it yesterday and you wore it this morning, but tonight we're going to actually hood you the way you should have been hooded. So it's all going to work out. So reading the names of our graduate students today is Greg Erickson. And now we're going to have to do some choreography, and I know there's dancers out there. So the plan is for the MA students to line up over here in that little aisle, and then you're going to come up, you're going to bring your card, and you're going to carry your hood on your right arm, and you're going to walk right here up onto the stage. You're going to come over here where I'm going to hood you, and then you're going to go back to your seat. And Greg's going to read your name. Can we have lovely music playing?
And if you get it wrong, we'll send you back. So make sure you're holding it in the correct hand. Okay, here we go. Paris, Marcel. Asya, Torkiye Zaberman. Margaret Hall. Stephanie Fisher. Rachel Friedman. Arun Gavada. Juana Urea. Martine Duffy. Katie Mendez. Macarena Ramos Hernandez. Ben Fears. Julianne Mason. Kira Williams. Alex Boone. Hakeem Watson. Caleb Shoemaker. Shannon Gaffney. Nessie Navarro. And Michaela Suminski. Congratulations to the MA Class 2023.
I also want to acknowledge our dedicated faculty whose words tonight represent, I think, the depth of engagement that they offer to each student at Gallatin, seeing them as the individuals that they are and tailoring. So I just want to close by congratulating all of our new fully accomplished and accredited master's graduates, graduates, and now Gallatin alums. Thank you to all the parents and families for joining us and friends joining us here tonight. Thank you to those streaming in and joining us online. And let's go to the party. Thank you all.